the other one. So, whole lot to get excited for.
Yeah.
We'll get into game one.
Top 4 starting off. Do not know who is going first. That's the confirmation for real, that the timer is starting. And you'd think that that's a bad start, but we love casting spells. So we're going to spend 4 for the Dankanan, and then we get to pick up security. Yeah, so we're going to resolve everything one by one, which is going to be put to the bottom of security, and then we are going to be able to play something cost minus, which means we get the 0 cost Elecmon because it is 3/3 off of Central Town. Most people have not ever read Central Town. Well, they read it and then went, wow, Abyss Area is so much better.
Excellent rune mode option.
Yep.
No, it's a cool variety too, because obviously they help both with the correct Olympians. The field spells push damage. Essentially, they provide alliance. They're providing ways to like accelerate your lethal lines. Like there is something to them inherently as like a focused top end, but toolboxing them gives you defensive flexibility. If you end up getting both in play by any completely insane means, you have the ability to get blocker, give everybody 2,000 DP. Like there's a ton of value from this. So. One of the main sticking points in Mega Zoo mirrors is your ability to take your guy with the exact same stats and effects as the other guy and increase their value in some way. So things like Throne Room, things like Abyss Area, giving you additional text that your opponent might not be able to get yet, puts you turns ahead. So the earlier you develop something like this in a mirror match, the stronger it is. And, you know, Andrew, that was a double Dan Kanan turn.
Yep. Not ideal. I mean, this, you know, Jazz may be also just maybe the greatest brick cut of all time. She managed to make Johnny Brick 3 games in a row when they played in round 6, and you know, this might be 4th brick game vibes.
It's Venus to the bottom, Alec, and I believe Neptune to hand. Neptune particularly great in the matchup because Neptune's ability to keep everybody around by suspending doesn't have a ton of counterplay in the existing Olympian pool other than opposing Venusmons. So, but of course, Venusmon is ridiculous in the mirror regardless because Venusmon turns off the ability to trigger the Homeros effect.
Yeah, and whilst Miguel has gotten to basically play no cards, you may have noticed that Jazz has gone...
We just keep going here, don't we?
+2 off of just simply existing on board. Like
3 Elecmon in 2 turns is a pretty good pace to take.
An Arsena and a rookie in back. Like we've got everything. Why did? It's entirely possible he dropped some things. They just wanted to reshuffle. I mean, you can always ask the judge to shuffle your own deck. May have also come off of deck checks. For those of you that.
Ooh, there's one of the spoilers, gang. I might have mentioned some interesting spice in these lists.
The paprika seasoning goes crazy.
It's not paprika, my friend. This is molten lava. We have burned the kitchen down. No, other table, I believe, is Puppets that you just saw last round, played by Indigo, excuse me, and Medusamon.
Yeah, who has not made it to stream all day, just been kind of chilling and cruising. And yeah, keep on searching. We're finally getting these Tapirs down. We're going search for search. A lot of catch up to do.
Yeah. Real tough to be this behind.
Oh, you're in.
I mean, that's your Shaman, and that's your Time Stranger.
Yeah. So, you know, considering we didn't actually hit security, like we're not actually in that bad a position. Once again, this is like Resource Turbo versus the guy that simply starts play. He's like Reggie Gigas. He actually only starts playing the game like 6 turns in.
It's 5 actually. Guys, the Pokemon trivia on this Digimon card stream is not accurate. Right. What are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? Neutralizing gas. Go. Crimson Blaze.
Yeah, really, I actually think Asuna and Lochoke is like neutralizing gas. It turns my brain off. Holy, I mean, that is not where you want to see the multiple Homeros back to back, but getting the first one down matters a lot because it re-enables the value from your Olympians. And again, without the Venus in response, which we have not seen revealed from Miguel's side, the pace of the game will explode from here. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the Minerva still hasn't been answered.
Chat, this is going to be a little game from me, your friend Tom, to you. During this mirror match, attempt to keep up on how many times the Digi-Egg draws a card, because that's the main acceleration in this deck that makes these teched out versions really effective.
Yep. We do have Alliance because we do have Minervamon
yeah.
in.
This is a +4 swing
Baruki.
before Alliance.
Yeah, it's huge.
Checking promo Dan Yuki. This
Yep.
card is reduce the play cost. This is your like
usually seen with his better half to the point that most people kind of forget the his surname, even though it's drilled in.
yeah. I almost called his ass Dan Cannon.
Yeah.
No, Dan is cool. His other advantage is like the promo Yuki, who we all kind of lauded on teaser for this set. Yuki's effect is to suspend at start of turn, provided you're at 4 or fewer. Dan's is giving DP, and I mentioned earlier, like one of the things in these Mega Zoo mirrors that are really significant is the ability to maintain advantages on identical cards. So when you've got these level 6 Olympians that are going band for band, DP from this matters, Homorous matters. We're going hardcore here.
Yeah, it's real impressive. Is that another Crimsy B?
Hachimachi, dude.
Draw face, breathing face.
Oh wait, we're plus.
We're +4 with
Oh,
the
yeah.
Alliance swing because it's 2 from each Digimon Alliance.
Yes, because the rookie swung. I was gonna say like so. We
Yeah,
actually-
Neptune. Sorry, it was Minerva played end of turn Dan Kenan swing with the rookie.
Yeah.
For 7.
This is
Is more shouldn't the second rookie have died?
was what? Sorry.
Because we were swinging with the tapir,
Yes.
but shouldn't the second tapir have died?
No, the first appear didn't. It checked. Checked Dan, and I believe it checked a.
Yeah, for some reason,
can't
I think it
remember
was
the
when he
bottom
was moving the
series.
Crimson Blaze. I thought that the Crimson Blaze was.
No, Crimson Blaze was
security.
hard played last turn.
Yeah.
So we're all square.
I follow.
Yes, so talking about promo Dan saying there's more spice than Crimson. Dan has sporadically seen a couple bouts of play. This card obviously reads very well in the mirror matches for Mega Zoo because like Dan is the intended support for playing Olympians. He reduces their cost. He's plus 3,000. Like there's just a lot of value from that effect that like in the mirror he matters a lot. Holy moly, what a
That's
time for
big,
Neptune.
Yeah.
Neptune Venus, of course, infamous in the blue fish version, but like crazy good here.
And we get the double stun on the Tamers as well.
Yeah, just absolutely fantastic. Still no Homorous developed on Miguel's side, but this buys a little bit of time.
I feel like he doesn't even need it. One of the interesting things about how Miguel's been playing today is that he's been like a lot more on like the bodies do what they need to do when they come down the first time.
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
Man, Link's not counting his sources.
Yeah, it really messes up the number on that
Yeah,
Neptune,
it's
huh?
big. Insane like crackback, honestly, from Miguel. And notice how he started doing stuff as soon as he hit one security. It's like a limit break.
Yeah, well, Venusmon when she goes Super Saiyan, right? I'm the best card in the deck, and now I'm cheap.
My man can fight.
My goat. She's as broken in this as she is in the video game. Try Digimon Time Stranger now on Switch this summer.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited. Mostly because Olympian Mega Zoo was like the thing I was like frothing at the mouth to play. So now that I'm off Medusa duty, this is where I'm going for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But holy, the actual getting like the first instance of seeing Dan get played is really cool because like the ability to like Agiomon get all the value out of playing Dan Kanan and then getting the Dan separately anyway because the names don't match up is really strong. Collectively, the effects like really stack well because the DP resolving at the start of the turn, the end of turn getting you the attack matters. Dan is especially strong in cases where Marukimon survives, which is really cool. So for a lot of folks, the like impression on the matchup is like how frequently can you resolve Dan in tandem with the strongest removal or combat focused Olympians. Being able to fight over the board is super significant for the matchup because when you don't have ways to repeatedly remove something without resolving a multiple time Homorous chain, like, you know, in some cases, that's an expensive investment you have to make before you can even start fighting back on board. Miguel evolving into Agiomon. Ripping Asuna pretty good here. The draw 2 matters because unsearchable tech cards obviously would not come up on the Hiroko. So, although there are degrees to this where it's like in the mirror match, you're a lot less likely to see, or based on current TS card pool, you're a lot less likely to see a lot of trash interaction. Miguel basically knows that like a Patamon put away for now is a Patamon that comes back almost guaranteed uncontested later, provided the numbers eventually get small again. But you would be surprised to find the numbers do eventually get small in lots of these Mega Zoo mirrors. One of the things that's like really interesting about it is once they develop enough ways to like manipulate their memory, they really do ping pong between 5 on your side, 5 on my side, 5 on your side, because they are all trying to resolve the same Homorous ranges. So it has a lot of interesting implications. Shoutouts to Mr. Streamer himself, Andrew or Elixar, for getting the can't suspend markers placed up. Make this nice and clear for us, chat. Let's see. It's a tough one, too, though, because one of the hiccups when you go to 0, I'm sure lots of you guys at home have interacted with this particular mechanic. Being able to ignore the color requirement from the field spells means that Time Stranger decks really do spend a lot of time at 0 or 1 security. They have the ability to do it relatively uncontested because your opponent doesn't have any triggers in response to that, and the ability to build multiple lines of defense, either from a Minervamon or from the field spell for a base area, means that like they have a lot of flexibility in terms of like where they can get their defense from, and never being able to get a clean hit is a pretty common theme until the board gets broken. To such a degree, in fact, that like some of the things we've seen adapted for TS mirrors like this, like friend of the channel Henny He is a devout Quartzmon enthusiast for this particular reason. So
the Danyuki getting value.
Yeah, absolutely doing bits. Like I was just saying, like the Abyss area is just so good in this matchup because like the recovery to 1 over and over again means that like the pace of gameplay changes entirely.
We used to pay 6 to recover 1, and now we play 3 and get additional value.
Yeah, fantastic.
These, like, I think the Wicked God descends, walked, stumbled, crawled, so these guys could, like, pull up on electric bike.
This is like, you know, I'm not going to go on the internet and say something as inflammatory as these TS trade option cards are better than the CS trade option cards. But if I were crazy or self-defeating enough to do that, I would say that the reason is not the link cards people always talk about, but it's the field spells. And had CS gotten a good one and not the one that occasionally saw playing Eaters, it might have made a difference.
Yeah.
It's such a shame, too, because, like, you know, the gap of power between... Oh, Venus is so strong in this situation, man. Hachi-machi.
Yeah. Especially
yeah,
because they both, like, the Venus in the mirror does such an interesting thing because they both are just slamming stuff to board. Very rarely are you actually going to have sources, and I think that's even more so on Jazz's side of the board because Miguel at least he do be Evo in sometimes.
I mentioned earlier as well, yeah, there's a couple more evolutions in Miguel's line. I mentioned earlier to you, Andrew, that one of the things that's interesting about the Mega Zoo variants where they play the field spells together is that it is occasionally impactful when the 2 field spells can be face up together. Venusmon is the most common path to that end game because Venusmon loading a rookie into the bottom of your security means you safely can get a chance to load the 2nd field spell.
Yeah, it's miserable. As a reminder, Miguel does his security kind of backwards, so that bottom security is still that. Oh wait, no, because you can put to the top. Or
No, Venus puts to the bottom, I believe.
Bottom. Okay,
Let me triple check.
You know, we can.
90% of the time in the Mega Zoo game, I usually would have put to the bottom, but there's a chance I'm wrong. Nope, it is all turns when any Time Stranger Digimon would leave the battle area other than by your effects, comma, by placing 1 Digimon with no Digivolution cards as the bottom security, they don't leave, full stop. So, the significance of that, like I mentioned, is that it gives you the access to like move your field spell forward in the security slot. So you can present the threatening security effect of playing the Digimon out. You can present the opportunity yourself to get both of the field spells live. And like I mentioned, in the Mega Zoos, free stats are so important. Like if you've ever played, well, Roll Knights is a little different because they're all ridiculous removal spells. But if you've ever played Mega Zoo Mirrors, if you were a BT1 enjoyer and you ever played back then, you know the significance of being able to overstat and overperform your guys versus their guys. The Neptune's so tough for the mirror match
honestly
here.
Kind of I guess it would have been if you tried to put the Neptune into security, the Venus would have attempted, like you would have been able to just suspend yourself to prevent the Venus.
Yeah, that's correct.
But then also,
but that's a it's almost depending on the
themes
that you're playing.
Right?
Yeah, so you know you waste Venus's trigger to a degree, whereas like in the absence of knowledge of tech cards, not that I think that applies here. I'm sure these guys have seen each other's lists because they're playing for top 4 right now for the finals of this regional.
From the sounds of it, actually, no. Like, Miguel did not know what Jazz was playing.
Oh, well, never mind. Well, you know what? I put foot in mouth, chat. They
know.
hypothetically had the chance.
Opportunity to.
Yeah. Listen, I'm casting right now. So if I was that good, I could have studied. But I'm not as good as these players.
I mean, you were close.
Yeah, well, hey, that's what it is. Listen, chat, nobody bubbles like the Tommy NT.
Oh, this is where another one of the differences between their lists is really going to come up. Jazz does have access to a lot of these options that make things just a little bit more awkward. So we're going to see the -6 off the cast for Shock Plasma, and then neither of these Digimon can attack, so we're not going to be able to get that second cast. But the DP, I believe, on Central Tower, well, there's no DP on left side of the board. We just got the
just blocker at the minute.
And reboot right now.
2 homers, or 1 homers?
One homer.
One homer. So 1 homers is field wide 1,000. Dan gives 1 Digimon 3,000.
So
Yes, but that's
So-
your turn. So currently, the
Yeah, does Dan not
AGO
linger?
was
Am I remembering
enough
wrong?
to be shrunk. Yeah, he's a red card, so...
Yeah, I would have thought he wouldn't linger, but you never know. Some people have said these time changer cards are pretty broken, bro.
Yes,
For the
start your
turnies.
main
Pardon
focus.
me, chat. I'm
Yeah.
not a knower.
That's a red card.
I live in the timeline where my stuff gets good.
So are we
Yeah, so we were mentioning earlier, like, advantages to give in these kinds of mirror matches are important because, like, link effects are so strong here because it's the cheapest way you can bump that power consistently as opposed to, like we said, Dan has other advantages. The 1 memory has added up. Chad, I mentioned earlier, you want to try and count the holy moly, another Crimson Blaze.
This is cute, actually.
Yeah, this sets up a pretty convincing, like, not a knockout turn, unless things go pretty crazy. But it puts Jazz pretty heavily on the back foot because it removes a lot of the ways you can play around things should security, produce a free body or anything.
There's no
like that.
blocker on the side of the board. You can see with all the dice, just also crazy how adding like dice with the markers has made this board so much more readable.
Yeah.
Alliance blocker reboot on the left, only 2k Alliance on the right. Elecmon on the first check.
A little bigger than that. Homeros does get played.
Homeros.
No effect from security here, though. We'll swing again. Just a
Nearly.
1 check.
Nearly had the Alliance, but yeah.
Wow, and that's game 1 for Miguel.
Yeah, Crimson Blaze mattered a lot. So, the source?
I mean, there's something to be said. Some people on the internet, Andrew, have said that card's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know. I wouldn't
have some
pretend
opinions.
to be the guy who'd make those
So
choices.
everyone
Yeah, very interesting.
Why Neptune first? Venus would clean the board.
Yeah, well, the Neptune advantage early means that you save the Venus in case there's something else coming down. But again, like that's all on the prerequisite that they are or aren't aware of each other's lists. I don't think there's a ton of stuff in there. But like, if you've seen one link, I think you should get nervous about other links.
We were at how much security?
2.
No, on.
Oh, sorry, on Jazz's
Jazz's
side, 2 face down, 1 face up.
Okay, so we were on 3. So yeah, Venus would have, because you would have Venus to stun the. It would
Yeah,
be-
how many sourceless Digimon were there?
Because if she had 3, then it's Venus stuns the Neptune
Yes.
and Venus,
Yes.
and then you Neptune spins everything except the AGO.
Sure.
And if you can't tuck anything because you just interruptive prevent, which means that you don't get the protection, which means then everything disappears.
Yeah, that's true. All right, yeah. Great point. Good
Yeah.
spot from the chat. Chat, this is why you guys are regional champions.
Yeah,
You
I
are
think
in my heart
It's
anyway.
an awkward board state. It's one of those things that you probably don't think about as much. It's not that we saw any additional draw. So what cards were shown were the cards that mattered.
Can I grab
Yeah, that's a good point. Honestly, I thought maybe she was at 4 security.
1 AGO removal. Security went to the bottom on turn 1 from the
2
central
things were
town.
stunned, and we swung Alliance, 2 checks,
Swing 1 check to remove the last security.
and
Swing
then
for
swing
game.
1 check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, it was close. Winnable.
Oh, very winnable. Hey, chat. Any of my little helpers here been counting those cards because I would be interested to see at the end of this just who got the most value out of that ridiculous little Wanyamon. That card is. I think at release, certainly we were guilty of it on Misplay for Game. Check us out on Saturday nights. We were guilty of it when we mentioned how ridiculous the Bukamon read at a first pass. But I think when you look at the results down the line throughout BT24 and especially into EX11, with the format changing, with the advent of the Liberator decks getting better, the card quality is just so high across the board that finding the extra cards mattered a lot rather than the extra push for damage. So it's an exciting format to watch develop. Megazoo, I mean, like, I wouldn't have believed you if you told me they'd come up with a way to make this deck good.
Yeah.
Well, if you told me it was Venusmon, I might have believed it 'cause she doesn't get bad cards. She's the GOAT. Oh my gosh, turn 1, another resolution. This time, Abyss Area gets Gomamon. This is one of my typically, I think, one of the stronger ways that this deck opens, because the turn 1 chump blocker actually matters. I mean, not in the mirror necessarily, although every card advantage point matters in Mega Zoo mirrors. You simply must draw and search as much as possible, as early as possible. But the early defensive pieces are really significant because it stops the chump checks.
Oh, were we talking about Miguel's side? Because I just assumed Jazz, because those were the 2 Digimon she had on board. But if it was Miguel, yes, there was a time where he forgot to source strip, but there was so much happening in that matchup that it's just like it was a non-factor. But you know, we are underwater on both sides of the board.
I mean, again, chat, these guys are playing for their finals spot at the moment, so pressure is on.
Uncut sheet already achieved. Like, you could say,
so sick.
You know, they made it day 2. They've got their invite. You know what? They made it top 4. They got their uncut sheet. They've basically achieved everything they wanted now. Now you're playing for a champion stamp.
Oh, and the
Pride.
gorgeous adventure playmat.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, I forget that was champion only.
Dude, it's so sick.
Yeah, no, Seb would have wanted that.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Shouts
to King of Knights. Game is game, as they say.
Fanboy for the foreseeable future. That's a highly contested spot.
True. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, card advantage is the name of the game here. Jazz making sure to find the pieces as quick as possible. Minerva is typically, in terms of like the player going first, developing the first on board, Minerva tends to be the strongest. She's answered worst in this matchup by the like immediate Neptunemon, because Minerva goes wide, Neptune becomes the response tool, Neptune can clear the Minerva without triggering the on-delete. So if you plan on Minervaing, you acknowledge your board probably isn't at its safest position, so evolving and moving pieces around like this is pretty effective. It does weirdly mean Minerva is the only one that gets bot decked, because she's the only thing that can't have an egg and can't have a source.
Yeah.
But AGO to find Homeros on turn 3 is such good advantage. It took till, I believe, turn 6 last game.
Yeah, it took a while, and now it means that when we go to plan A, which is assemble the Olympians, you've still got a little bit extra value. You're not going to have an entire board that gets chump checked by a instant Neptune. But a Venus will definitely get you half the way there.
Thinking about the choices here. Obviously, Venus, pretty expensive when she's not met her reduction requirement of 3 of security.
He can technically afford it.
Yeah.
At 12.
At 12. And it turns Homeros off.
It does. Yeah, she does go to sleep.
Many things have been said over the significance of passing the TIM Stranger players 5 memory. I don't know if I'd give a Mega Zoo player 10 memory.
Okay, so we're going to
here's the Neptune.
Keep it nice and cheap. We did, I guess, give away hand information that we do have the Venus in hand, but like you'd expect it when you're playing this kind of matchup in Mirror. So just going to see the Neptune come down. Bot deck 1, again, the AD01 having a source matters a lot. And this is 5 memory passed, so Homeros is going to go to sleep, so we're not going to get to see like double Minerva.
If you're ripping a Dan Cannon here, like I feel like the ideal is just in between theater. Like it's you've committed one of the more durable Olympians early, but not the one that like helps you build the board the fastest. So you kind of want to build for the ability to like extend next turn or even in 2 turns once you've re-enabled your raising promote. So.
One thing that is interesting here is Alliance doesn't actually matter in this instance.
Yeah, it won't matter till right at the end of the game. Ooh, a chip, 2 checks.
She's letting this through. We're not going to barrier it. You never mind.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that go. But I mean, if I had known I had it like that,
maybe that was just a disturbance in the force. She was like, value. I mean, I guess the Dankanan doesn't actually do anything in terms of additional memory, just because we were set to 5 anyway, so Dankanan was
Dankanan's first half is off.
So not a, like, monumentally bad check, but, I mean, that's going to be a free option card, which we know that she has a lot of. And it might mean that we get a second action before we start sending things to
Actually, wait, did Dankanan not play there? Was it just to trigger the attack? I don't see, I mean, unless the card is exactly under the hand, in which case I would have a different problem with where the hand currently is on the plan map, but I didn't see a between theater, didn't see a link.
Well, I guess he didn't have anything to play off of it, so he was just using it for the end of turn
just attack. For the attack, yeah. It's tough, because, like, again, not to be a broken record here, chat, but, like, one of the most important things you can continually develop is card advantage, so missing out on free value like that really hurts. good use for those markers. Thank you, judge team. Appreciate you. Say thank you to your locals, judges, next time you guys are seeing your friends and colleagues and companions in real life.
All right, so we're taking the central town. Losing double Asana does kind of suck, but I mean, like we've kind of been talking about, these field spells being able to be a free recovery when things get a little dicey does matter a lot. Especially when you know that Miguel is on Crimson Blaze and can Crimson Blaze your board as part of combo. Looks like we're going to go for
Venus is the exact one you want to see here. It doesn't necessarily on its own defend against like rush pushes for damage here. So if there are any advantages you can generate that way, that would still be a threat. Choosing to stop the Dan from suspending really good here because it pushes to a degree does minimize the amount of damage you can press. So big help.
I mean, yeah, it's spending a lot, but double up. My man can fight, and everybody's going to the bottom of the deck. That's awesome.
That's such a big tempo swing from Jazz.
Yeah.
And again, we're back at that, like we were discussing it earlier, like the significance of the 2 memory extension and like how do you, or sorry, 2 security and like how do you keep it moving like that? This is a great holy moly.
Between theater. I mean,
Does Miguel do coaching?
You've been past 10, so does memory boost even matter at this
Yeah,
point?
man, that's a 3rd Olympian.
Yeah, true, actually.
Yeah, that board now looks like Minerva, Neptune Mon, Venus Mon all in one turn.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like if you've got it like that, like the dream here is Venus first, stop
Venus,
Neptune.
yes.
Yeah, the dream here is Venus to stop Neptune. Neptune comes down and makes Venus burn something. Neptune then protects its side of the board, and then Minerva to develop back.
Something that may to be said was to maybe chip to 4.
Yes, there's a great case for that.
Yeah, rather than alliancing the 2. Like, obviously, double memory boost sucks, but like, due to a card hitting Matt earlier, we know Venus was in hand, so keeping her off of the cheap play condition might have been something that was worth considering. But also, there may have just been like an urgency to. Yeah, it is 12.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, we've had a take back already. It's important to make sure you're playing to the correct text on your cards in this kind of context. Tough. I really thought we had a Venus and a Neptune in that hand.
Yeah, we do have a Venus.
Okay.
I think.
Perhaps the nerves getting to Miguel, or a line that I'm not seeing. I'm not going to pretend I know better for sure.
I think he forgot that.
No Iliad's in board.
Dankanan isn't Iliad tagged.
That is true.
There's no
well, it
Iliads
doesn't believe Minervamon wants a Digimon.
Minerva looks for Iliad.
Does Minerva really work off of Homeros? I know Minerva plays the Homeros, but. Well, you have Iliad trait, Digimon, or Tamer. Chat, I never read the second lines of cards. I'm a red player.
The only Iliad
I've lost games.
The only Iliad Tamer
is Homeros. Yeah, which makes sense. Homeros is Iliad. Spoilers, guys.
Yeah, so that's a really important moment.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd maybe call that the game.
But you know, maybe it's because he wasn't on 1 security. If he was on 1 security, he finds the line.
Yeah, good point.
He overrides Dankanan and they are Iliad tagged.
Yeah. Dude, it's such a catastrophic shame to see double in between theaters from security and not be able to capitalize on that effect. That's a cosmic shame.
Yeah, because no amount of in between theater fixes that. We will get to see 1 block, which you know isn't nothing.
Yeah, the Homeros giving the Gomamon the ability to go over. That's so
excellent.
funny. What a ridiculously good way to remove the Minerva here.
Bounces the lowest. We're gonna put it
the
under
TP on, surely not the Gomamon.
Yeah.
Surely you protect Venus in this context, right? Because like the one that.
Well, I mean,
okay.
Nothing is protected because it's not a source, right?
Sorry, but it's the choice to make a larger Venus than anyone else reduces one of the ways your opponent can out the Venus.
Okay, I think we are being made to put it under Goma because
no takey backs. Yeah,
which I respect it.
Yeah. This is top 4. They should be able to put it back both ways.
Clean up your play. It's not. I can't even say it's been a long day like yesterday. We are 2 hours into
yeah, it's 12:08.
Yeah. It's midday.
Dude, I was going to say, if the Alliance doesn't go through here, I'm profoundly confused.
Yeah, because we didn't have any protections. So.
Oh, gee. This is ideal. This is absolutely ideal because this is the 2 that have They are both dead. Well, Gomamon, I believe. How much is the link? I believe it's +3. I'm almost certain
It's +3, but he was also during the alliance check for things. So yeah, we are just going to end up scooping because there's just nothing we can do from this position.
Yeah.
And we are going into game 3.
So hype. They approached us. Shouts to OP, the tournament staff here, running the very, very efficient, very minimally interfered with, and exceptionally well organized Bristol Regional 2026. Gave us the option to discuss like some of the stuff we thought was cool here, and this matchup has so many little intricacies that seeing these two players kind of work out like, oh, I acknowledge checkmate in 3 turns kind of deal, which I think is really smart because like Digimon is at its coolest to me when that's the sort of gameplay you get to choose.
Third and final game. I mean, I think it's the first game we've seen Miguel actually lose on stream because everything else has been him just like snatching wins from. Like,
He was undefeated in Swiss, right?
Yes, undefeated in Swiss. Don't know if it was his no. I think he probably went to time. A lot of the TS players went to time, so I don't think he had like no games dropped.
Give me a quick check really fast. I should still have that information. I played yesterday.
To, like actually check his full record.
I can help you with that. The choice of going first, I've talked about a lot of the things in this matchup that people want to consider early. One of the, I think, more exciting parts of Megazoo Mirrors is the choice of how to use your earliest resources, because I mentioned hand advantage is so important. But like the specifics of, oh, how am I going to choose to progress on turn 1? Both games, we've seen a usage of field spell, play rookie, and develop the one correct checked security and get a search resolved. But they have actually both had an instance of missing the rookie and raising. But the promote isn't that much more like, it doesn't progress the clock that much.
So
to a degree, it like inhibits your rebuild later on.
Watching Jazz play yesterday, she it's intentional to leave the rookie out of raising in some instances because the rookie is only +1, whereas
Yes.
like, okay, I say this, option card player rookie is -2 and then add 2, so like it's actually like it's net 0. Like both options are net 0, but one cycle 3 cards. One cycle 1.
Yes, that is true. The hand advantage itself matters on turn 1, like you mentioned. But like one of the reasons that like the cycle isn't so bad is because half of the advantage from the cards is just getting them on as fast as possible. We talk about like the Homeros Jazz taking game. Not an insignificant part of that was because you had to play into Homeros multiple times to stop that card resolving. The earlier you get your powerful cards in the matchup, like Megazoo isn't, it's not a, whether or not people have particular opinions on high action turns or low action turns representing a particular skillful way to play Digimon. I'm not really going to get into that. I think it's kind of chump talk. But what it does matter is that like when you only have 1 or 2 actions per turn, making the cards come on where you need them to go as fast as possible is almost stronger than raw draw. Otherwise, Inori would be like the dream every game.
This is a crazy like normal turn.
Yeah, this is like please God, let there be a Homeros in my security.
Yeah, people have different levels of dexterity when it comes to shuffling cards, especially if you're on double sleeves or like sleeves you're not familiar with.
Yeah, we have a table judge.
Also,
there,
if you're trying to be like careful with your opponent's deck.
Yes,
if especially if you ask to shuffle their deck, that's already a big ask for a lot of people. So then also making sure that you're like being as careful with it as possible. Like you'll probably get one that looks a little.
I would be like nauseously nervous that I might accidentally bend a corner on my opponent's card going into finals. I'd feel like a sicko.
Meanwhile, I lent Jambo my. I lent Jambo my gold Z. It's like that. I'd be like doing tricks with these things, right? I'm like, bro, you see how I
That's a shiny Pringle you got there, Goat.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I mean, so Promo Patamon is an interesting one because really the 4 you want to show off is AD01 because a lot of these Megazoo lists do play the Garurumon. The Garurumon is because it's a great tool at outing the Megazoo boards. Hachimachi really was AD01. He was the wave this turn.
You know what? I
plays the field spell.
Who I'm watching play. I was like, damn, Homeros for 3, no value. But no, that is 3 for a Dankanan, which means we can then cast the option.
Oh, this is so good.
Then gives us the Gomamon.
Yeah, so the trigger, the order you trigger these cards in here is largely solved. It's draw ideally from the egg and then Gomamon, unless you're specifically looking for something that you can't find off the search.
And one thing that was very, very nicely done is that we declared the attack before taking the search, because it's something that we brought up yesterday. We watched a TS player actually whiff on the attack. It may have been Miguel. I can't fully remember. I will bring up Dan Kanan because full effect resolution. Dan and Kanan can whiff on that secondary.
Yeah, there's a full
attack.
stop, and it says then one of your Digimon may attack. So effect resolution on option card, then Dan and Yuki must resolve the effect, or it's considered optionally declined.
Yes, it is not. It is not interruptive. On plays are not like interruptive like that, so you do actually have to.
I mentioned earlier the Garurumon usually tried to be saved, well, in ideal scenarios, saved for later in the mirrors. But it is a jamming check. So for all the value you get out of that, this stack represents sort of a security and a cleared body, because you can DP minus the Gomamon with the Patamon inheritable, trigger the security damage, push for the effect lethal here. Because 4 security and 3 security, there are differences.
It's likely going to end as a reboot blocker, because we've seen when Miguel commits it early and starts swinging it, it's usually with a Minerva in tow, so it's not like giving up defensive line. So we're going to swing at the body. We're going to -2 to put it in barrier range. So now the Guru is bigger. -2.
Homeros plus gives it +1. Is that math right? No, that was a crash forgetting about barrier. I think they forgot about the DP from Homeros.
Yeah.
Yay. 4,000 jamming versus 5,000. -2, then +1.
You can see it above the deck. Our time is covering it, but yeah, there is a +1. There is a +1. So
yeah, maybe an unfortunate miscalculation there from Miguel. It's okay though. There are still ways to extend on this board. I like. Oh, you don't have a TS trait card on the field anymore. Yeah.
We cannot meet the. Oh no, we can.
If you've got a rookie, then the field, then you're okay.
So it's legal. Yeah, this is a legal action. I was gonna say we can't do it, but yep, no. Someone that is very familiar with them does give us a free Patamon, which is going to turn into an Agio. Agio, are we going to burn security to give us a Homeros of our own? Or is it... Yeah, because we could maybe get Dankanan here, which would help, because then we can maybe try and double boost.
Yeah, it's enough turn. It's for the turn. Goes to my hand.
Ooh, not a bad pickup. Get Dankanan and then...
Yeah, Dankanan giving you a little bit more clap back here.
In between here. Okay, no, there she is.
I'm okay with this. Obviously, an unfortunate resolution of how maybe Miguel planned that last turn to go with the Garurumon going early, but this does...
This is clean. Yeah, and then the -2 +1 was still not big enough.
Yeah,
so
1,000 minused out.
It just took a lot more steps than intended.
Yeah. If you think about it, the barrier is the exact same as the security having been checked by jamming. So really, there's no difference, and it wasn't a misplay.
Yes, true. It was just actually an alternative route.
Yeah.
We do still leave a body on board for Goma, which I'm not super
This IBT is tough, man. Obviously, Venus as early as possible next to a Homeros massively improves your likelihood to win out in the matchup. But if we've got one already, maybe we don't need one. Bit of hand information from Miguel. The actions per turn are so low in this kind of mirror match that frequently you might find yourself in positions where it doesn't matter what kind of hand information you're giving your opponent, because it's more about what my hand looks like in 4 turns, not my hand looks like next turn.
Is that double Minerva? Oh, Minerva. Okay, so Agio was the last card, and then this is double level 6. So this is Agio. This is Minerva and Venus.
Yeah,
This was so much better than Boost.
Yes, absolutely. One of the advantages later on, when you start to get into this position where like Minerva can get your 4s down, because conveniently Garurumon and Agiomon will all resolve on play. So you don't miss too much on the Digivolution, and so like thinning your hand from 4s early is effective in this matchup. But the big sticker for later on is having as many Olympians to play to react with Homeros, and having rookies to continually re-enable your draw egg. And if you can't meet both of those conditions, you'll run out of gas. There he is. Oh my days. The big man around Central Town. It's Marukimon. So usually pretty good at pushing here.
We do have blocker barrier here, though. Oh. Are we trying to punch Minerva?
My assumption would be yes. You really don't mind them getting played at this particular moment. And risking Agiomon now can be scary if you're Miguel. So like there are cases where it's like, how much am I willing to use? That being said, though, whether or not you let Marukimon go through is like what you might expect to see from your security. You've seen most of your ISTs. I don't necessarily think I'd risk it. It is bigger because of Homeros. That makes the security. That's another reason I mentioned Homeros really important to get early. Make sure Olympians survive Olympian checks.
I like that we actually left the blocker barrier face up.
18K?
Sheesh, we are huge.
Yeah, this is a big Digimon, man. 10,000. Sorry, 22,000 to be accurate.
Yeah,
Was that double Minerva in security? Oh, the two face downs there were Minerva.
Yeah, that's
Holy
kind of
moly.
rough because obviously Minerva
it's
is
not
the
the one you
big
wanna see in
defensive
there.
backbone of this deck. One on board, one currently suspended, and like it is a Maruki. We've left 2 bodies on board, so like this is a Neptune. Like Neptune clears.
Neptune can, but it'll be pretty expensive. One of the conditions I believe Neptune is if there are more Digimon on your opponent's side, so going level.
Digimon, isn't it?
Oh, pardon me. I'm thinking of my BT25 testing. Excuse me. Yes, that's 2 or more Digimon. I was thinking of Volcanismon. My mistake, chat.
Ah, yes, the new one.
Yeah. He's just if they've got more guys than you. Expect to see Volcanismon in these lists in about 5 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. So like Andrew said, one of the advantages to like leaving these bodies on the board for Jazz is that like it means you have some flexibility in terms of your plays. Your plays aren't limited to like with my sideways Homeros will just play an Olympian. Although if you've got that Olympian, it's usually the one I would have chosen to play.
I guess this actually isn't full clear. I completely forgot the AGO
Has a source.
AGO has a source, and
Homeros is
asleep, so we
sleeping.
can't double pop. I think this is why she was considering swinging the Goma, but choosing to just leave it because realistically, with the way Miguel's been playing, if she hits it, it's a free body.
Yeah.
And then he will probably just heal back.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, we're in a really good position. Really good position on both sides. Like, Jazz, obviously, 3 bodies on board, 3 security.
And IST sat down there is like, or IBT, excuse me, sat down there, presents, again, the chance of a double Olympian turn. You have the conditions met for Neptunemon, Venusmon, and Minervamon. So all of them could come down together depending on what comes up. Of course, we saw most of the Minervamons in Miguel's list go into security, which was a pretty unfortunate adaptation they'd have to change.
And then, yeah.
Interesting.
Dan, I think with where we're at in the board state, I just don't think he thinks that we'll get enough long-term value out of the
you
Dan
really need to
versus,
refresh
like,
the raising here, so you can't afford to not take the rookie. And then the potential to not hit another replacement security gets pretty scary in a second.
Okay, we are going to trash the Garuru. It does put it in trash, so that way it's a target for Abyss. Obviously, Abyss can play from both hand or trash, but might as well have it in trash. You're probably not going to be going for like any one-choke Evos because that, as we've seen, we are playing tennis from the back line.
Yeah. And if you're Jazz, I don't necessarily. I'm sure we'll see some people talking about like the merit of hide the Garurumon so that when the security check goes through, you can use it. But in this kind of match, you just must assume at some point they've found one. Otherwise, this is a bluff. And if it's a bluff, you win anyway. So you resolve through that line. So it being in trash and it being in hand, not necessarily that important. If anything, Asana's card advantage might mean you have a second one and you're playing around it. So. It's a tough time here for Miguel, though.
Yes,
realistically,
really.
the next Olympian that comes down has to steal the board back and basically give Miguel the chance to contend. Otherwise, it's almost over.
It's a pretty small amount of removal. The downside is that your Homeros is asleep.
Yes.
And there's no real way to establish... You can't clear this... Because of this Neptune, you can't double clear this Neptune. Actually... Yeah, because even, I was going to say, because of the Homeros, even something like double, like boost, shock, plasma, swing isn't no, there's a Patamon under. So, like, hypothetically, boost, shock, plasma, swing, AGO clears Neptune. But that is the only thing that clears Neptune, because the -2 KDP from the inherit would be enough to account for Homeros.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's more of a Jazz kind of move rather than it is a Miguel kind of move. But
Venus is the one I think you want here. Yeah.
Okay,
This is the way I'd choose to do it, because it prevents the Neptune suspension, prevents the double attack off of him, means it's, I would say, quite obviously telegraphing Garurumon coming from trash here. So the significance of like this resolution means that like it puts Miguel towards I have time to spare. I might get one more turn to develop a comeback, but on the whole, it's a tricky one.
And now I will declare attack over Meruki.
all right, it looks like we are going to go at.
And Alice.
We're going to go at Maruki.
Veemon.
Alliance, and then we -2k with the
Let's do another
-2k with the Patamon. So this time we finally clear that
Yes,
Gemmamon
oh
that's
my
been
god.
sticking around.
And the ability to now get that Minerva into play, get the second Homeros, means once again, like, it's all about the stats. Giving your Megazoo cards need to have more words on them than their Megazoo cards. And by being able to get the Minerva, you develop out here. Also, Homeros ready for next turn, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, good position to be in. Once again, he gets down to 1 security, and he's kind of activated. He always finds a way to just be in a good position from where he's at. Obviously, you know, some people thrive in the clutch.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we definitely were not clutching in the previous game. And, honestly, the start of this game was a little rough, but...
I mean, here's Neptune. So Venus is the card that best protects you here, because the opposing Neptune can't suspend. So Venus is going to have to choose one of her own Digimon alongside her to guarantee the safety here.
Yeah, because the Neptune can, like, even if you were to try and tuck the can't suspend Neptune, the other Neptune is going to be able to interrupt that.
Yeah, so you end up giving up one Digimon for this effect, but that's one Digimon in security. And Andrew, I said to you in game 1, if this doesn't get resolved, now there's the risk of double face downs.
Yep.
Which gets crazy. Venus, of course, something people don't talk about. Venus lets you get the second Abyss Sanctuary down on her own. So there are situations I've seen resolve where Venus double alliances.
How did Maruki die? It was bigger. We swung a 4K AD01 with Alliance, which was able to punch over Maruki.
Yeah. Plus all the Homeros boosts.
Double Homeros,
That's a big kick in the head, I would say.
The Minerva, like the D-Digivolve was secondary. But then, yeah.
Well, chat, I think we all know how we feel about that Neptunemon guy.
But, I mean, it's crazy that they're keeping parity with each other. Like, the Asuna is legitimately the only difference between these two, but we're looking at, you know, both of them on Dankanans, both of them on double Homeros.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, Andrew, I'd call this almost the end of the game here. Miguel is being tapped for resources in a way that Jazz isn't. Jazz has been able to conserve more of the cards. And part of that is the security, having stolen 2 Minervamon, sadly. But, you know, you make your best with
I
it.
just can't pass this game state.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, matters. Like, I just reasonably cannot, like, understand how it does it. So that's one instance of has... used its protection.
Yep, which means the next Neptune is still ready to go.
Wait, no, it's not once per turn protection.
That is correct. Yeah.
I think
the unsuspend is once per turn.
Yes. So just putting that just to remind.
This is game 3.
This is indeed game 3. You can see from the emblems up top. Double face down.
Double face down. Listen, it's sick because you get the extra body. He gives you something else you can cycle around with a Venusmon should you be able to get a second one into play. And, importantly, it means your damage push here could be 3 damage, 1 damage. So, there's a lot of go. Oh, my days. It's Neptune. Everyone, welcome to Neptunemon's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yeah, it felt like
we're all going to
playing
hang out
the Cold
together.
War, and I think finally they've all decided to hit the big red button, and it's just send him.
God, he's so good in this context, too, because the protection applies over and over again. So this is like where you end up in the position where the Venusmons will be able to hold longer. You'll be able to like really... it's easy to assess based on how many Neptunes there are because your opponent just goes, okay, each one is 2. But the trick of it becomes like what order you resolve them in the further we go. I don't believe you've
There's
seen
no way
that many
if
Venus
he's on
from
a
Miguel.
third- Okay, if he was on a third Abyss area and had a means of playing Neptune again, I would have been shocked. But
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be the Tapirmon
Crimson
here.
Blaze gone as well from the search.
Yeah.
That's one accounted for. 5 minutes plus 5 overtime. We're in such a good position for Jazz to maybe... I don't know, this is a lot of blockers.
It sure is. Ones that don't care about getting beaten in the first place.
Armour stays asleep, just like Time Stranger. She is basically a non-factor in this game.
Yeah.
And
That's when it matters, is when one of them manages to keep them awake. That's the scary part.
Yeah, it feels like the only ones we've been seeing have been ones that are played off of Minerva because they can't come down sideways.
That's true. Although I will say this, I mentioned earlier, Jazz's early one off the AD01 really did come into play. So like effects like that do make a difference if you at home are trying to consider how you would play this kind of matchup.
And this will be suspend 2, and then gets to declare the attack with Alliance.
Yep.
Now we get... Oh, and then gets to unsuspend. Now we get to unsuspend both of these Neptunes, presumably.
Yeah, wakey, you guys aren't done yet.
But I don't... It got to declare the attack. It has to attack an opponent's Digimon, so isn't it still swinging at something?
Yes, it should be.
Although I guess it
but
doesn't
just
actually
go sideways
matter.
again.
Everything has a blocker.
Yeah, and Home Rose isn't triggering from this position, so we don't believe anything's going.
This realistically means that Lekmon is going to take one to the mouth.
It's tough. I mean, Marukimon really gets over the problem regardless by providing his own. He brings his own lunch to work. But otherwise, the two Homeros making the DP difference again. Like that's the significance here is that like. Oh,
we're
sorry.
actually gonna let it go rather than let the rookie go.
Curious.
Oh wait, he gets double Agio off of this.
Oh, that's a really cool line.
That's sick.
Promo
yeah, 'cause it's an
Agiomon, if I've ever
alliance
flamed you in the past, I may have been wrong. Were they both from hand?
Yeah.
That's a cool way to hide that. No blockers left
no
otherwise,
blocker
though.
accepts the
Yeah.
AGO.
Shoot, maybe blocking first and saving the double blockers for later would have been cool.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see it. So yeah,
So,
we are
a
just gonna
cool
see-
line,
we can
maybe
see-
mathematically not quite exactly where you need it to be. Congratulations to Jazz.
Yeah, really, really good. Unfortunate for Miguel that the second game didn't quite go his way, but you know, unforced error.
Yeah, well, I think if you're Miguel, lots to look back on. Blessed by having been able to have so many games on stream for footage of Ryu. Always an important part of practice is making sure you have the ability to watch back and make sure you with a critical lens. So if you ever want to make your own run at a top 4 and a new uncut sheet like the DigimonTCG pricing provides, you should be doing the same. That being said, it's tough because, like, if you're Miguel, you're probably thinking about the accidental 12 memory game
it's
2
definitely really
Minervamon.
Not going to a game 3.
Yeah, like
really, really
it
close.
feels toughest when it feels like it was at hand. So, what a challenge!
Yeah.
But well done from these players because this matchup is exciting in a lot of ways because of the choices deck builders get to make in it.
This was a curse.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything through. The Crimson Blaze to guarantee the lethal game 1 was the thing I thought was going to be really exciting about it. But the links were huge. I mean, just literally having the ability to extend and remove over and over again without committing an Olympian, and then having your overstated 6s meant that you were able to contest for longer. So
Yeah. Honestly,
Big
thinking
game.
about it as well, like even if we'd had instead of letting the piercing check go through the Neptune, because of how Jazz sequenced is, it didn't matter because the Neptunes wouldn't have retained blocker anyway. So if you try and chump block with the Elecmon, you're still taking the piercing 2 checks. So like
yeah, that's true because Alliance always gets both security at the same time.
Yeah.
But I still think maybe it would have been better to suspend the first Neptune, prevent that first allianced swing doing the damage, and then force your
it's only
opponent
by
onto
effects,
odd
though.
numbers.
So like I had to look it up. On
Oh,
the
sorry,
Neptune.
was
It's
he
only by
bigger? I thought they were
effects, so
crashing.
It was crashing, but it's not by an opponent's effect. It's just dying by battle.
True.
Neptune's hold in
True.
his protection is battle
fighting,
because
yes.
the Divamon is supposed to give you that unanimous protection.
That's right. Sorry, I did play against a lot of blue TS. This card just sort of does everything in my head.
Yeah, so really,
Dang,
really
what
cool
a
from Dust.
game.
They were able to set up like a near guaranteed lethal line, despite the unseen double blocker out of
Yeah.
security.
Like the ability to hide lines like that in these kinds of matchups is really cool because like you have so much flexibility instead of like what some people argue is a very linear delay based I make my guy hit your security game. This gives you a little bit of like, oh, you know, I actually have a couple lines that like I can hide until game 3. So I don't even think we saw promo Digimon until game 3.
Yeah. I think this is super sick. I mean, both of them really showed that TS is not solved yet. Like,
Absolutely not, and it's gonna get cards all year long.
yeah, this version, this could not have been better promo for the very clearly I'm going to slam a level 6 BT25 cards that we've been getting. So yeah, I'd love to see, and like not just look back at this, but also see where these decks are going to end up in like a format L2 and what it's going to look like.
I mean, how much can Homeros carry a line, right? That's the thing. Potentially as well, one thing that could be really cool is, Andrew, I don't know if you noticed, I was excited about this when the mirror was coming up and we were presented this chance. It surprises us because it means we might be getting a World Finals rematch for Megazoo TS versus Medusa, if Medusa's the winner.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, and that's narrative, buzzword. No, it's sick. That match was crazy. Most people would be quick to tell you that in a head-to-head sprint, Medusamon wins those because you just don't let Minervamon use her very powerful, most of her power budget on delete.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, holy God, it's really difficult to interact with Neptune Venus when you're playing that deck.
Yeah,
so
it is.
both the decks have tools to make it move. So it was really exciting to see like the chance to go forward. Without Miguel's progression, the Crimson Blazes in this archetype, I believe we're all out of them now. I don't think there's any Crimson Blazes left in any Time Stranger decks, hypothetically, which means it'll be about links. And one of the things people often forget is EX11 Medusa needs to be bigger than your Digimon to pop it, and a link sure does help make you bigger than Medusa. So it'll be a really, it's a high variance potential set with some like very simplified win conditions for both players.
Yeah, so we're gonna head to a short break as we get set up for finals. If you've liked the stream so far, you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the stream. It puts it on the front page, so that way we can get more normies getting into DigimonTCG. You know, maybe they're just fresh
Did you
on
like
Time
video
Stranger
game?
and they want to watch some Time Stranger. They can do that. You can be part of a difference maker. If you're watching on Twitch, or you know you have Amazon Prime, you should have a Twitch and use your Twitch Prime for free. You can take money away from a billionaire and give it to me.
True.
We definitely need it because the project right there, the Misplay Mercenaries, we'd be sending people to events.
Likely UK Games Expo will be its next outing, so you may see us there.
Help me us afford that by Twitch Prime.
T-shirts not free. Don't grow on trees.
Yeah, also
didn't know that.
Join the members.
Yeah.
You can get all of the VODs of these early, and if you're in the venue right now and a rookie or above, I have Garurumon sleeves.
Can I get some sleeves, man?
Yeah,
Sweet.
definitely get some sleeves. Bye.